Okay, today we're going to have a look at the biology required practical of osmosis. Now, osmosis is when water or liquid passes through a semi-permeable membrane from an area of a higher concentration to the lower concentration. The way that this experiment demonstrates that is by using plant cell material, usually a potato. We are going to need some different solutions. I have here, that is just ordinary distilled water. We've got a 0.25 molar solution of sucrose, and that's a 0.5 molar solution of sucrose, so that's the more concentrated. We put 10 ml of each of those solutions, that's 10 cubic centimetres, into a test tube, a boiling tube, and then prepare the potato slice. Now what we use the cork borer, which you just push into the potato. It should bring you out a nice little slice of equivalent to that. That one I would just be able to push through there with a stick or whatever. Now what we've got to remember is, obviously we're looking at the cell structure. The skin is not going to be conducive to any liquid passing through it. So I'm going to take the two tips off, and we need all of our samples to be exactly the same. So we use the same borer. You can get these in different diameters, and it recommends that we use 3 centimetres, which is 30 ml. So if I chop that there, that would give us our 30 ml plug. Pardon me. Now what we do, before we do anything with it, we would weigh that in there on the balance. So that's weighing in at 1.53 grams. And as I say, that would go into the boiling tube with 10 cubic centimetres of whichever one of our solutions. Now then, here's what we did yesterday. We can see that we need to make a chart. The chart will show us the initial length of each of our plugs of potato. So they're all 30 ml. You can expect, although they're going to be the same size, you can expect really slight differences in the mass. The initial mass, 1.50, 1.53 and 1.52. And what we're really looking to see is what happens to the potato when it's been in. This has been in for around about 24 hours in this solution. So this is the distilled water. We'll get that out, and to try and be fair, we just need to make sure that we've got no excess water. I'll just roll it onto a paper towel just to blot it off a bit. And if we weigh it, right, so that was the one in just in water, and we can see that's now weighing 1.70 grams. Let's see if there's been a change in length. We've probably got a very slight change in length. I would argue that that is around about just 1 millimetre, I would say. So the final length on our chart is 31 millimetres. Let's have a look at the next sample. So this is the weaker of our two sugar solutions. It's just a sucrose solution. Drain that off in there. Pop it onto our paper towel and just gently roll it. We don't want to obviously squeeze it and get the water out of it, but we don't want an excess of liquid on the outside that's going to affect our results. So if we pop that onto the balance, right, we can see that's weighing 1.64 grams. That was 1.53 when we put it in yesterday. So it has gained some mass, but it's only gained about half as much as what the one that was just in water. And again, if we look at the length, I'm just in the shadow a bit there, I would suggest that that's grown also by about a millimetre. Okay, so our final solution is the 0.5 molar sugar solution. It was sucrose, as I say, that we used. So this is the more concentrated solution of the two sugar solutions that we're using. Just block that off a little bit like we did with the other. Pop that onto the balance. Right, that's interesting. We've got 1.29 grams there. And that was 1.50 yesterday. 1.29. Right. I'll have a little look at the length of that. See if anything's happened to the length. And you can see that's actually shorter than the 30mm that it started off at. I'd say that's 28 now. We'll put that down as 28mm. So we can see the change is -2mm in our stronger solution, plus 1mm in our weakest solution, or less concentrated solution, I probably should say, and plus 1mm in our distilled water. Here it's interesting, we've lost, we've got a minus 0.21 grams in the more concentrated solution. In the less concentrated solution, we've got plus 0.11 grams. And in the water solution, we can see that we've got plus 0.18 grams. So you can see, quite possibly, what we would have expected to see, that the water has actually been soaked up or has passed into, through the membrane, but via osmosis, has passed into our core of potato, increasing the size marginally, the length, sorry, marginally, but increasing the mass by 0.18 of a gram. The less concentrated solution has also grown ever so slightly in length, and still significantly, but less than the water, distilled water. It's grown by 0.11 grams. And we can see that the more concentrated solution, the potato core that we've taken, has actually shrunk in length and also decreased in mass by quite a significant amount, to be fair, 0.21 grams. So that shows you what's actually happened, and we can draw different inferences as to what's actually been the case. It's interesting there, look, you can see the difference in the cores that I've taken. You can see that the last one actually looks thinner and has lost weight. Now what's happened there is that the water that was in the potato has actually flowed out of the potato into the more concentrated solution. It is a little bit interesting. These samples were taken, but this might be one that you might want to discuss to take it a little bit further with your teacher. This was a nice fresh potato that I bought yesterday and we worked on yesterday. This potato here is one of a batch of potatoes that have been in the fridge for probably best part of 3 months. It's now the end of January and it's been in there since early December, maybe November. And you can actually feel, unlike this potato, which is absolutely, well, was solid, this one feels a little bit more spongy, and it's just a little bit more unusual. And actually the results that we had with that one, we could see that actually the distilled water, when the sample was put into the distilled water, it actually lost some of its mass, only a tiny fraction of its mass. The the lesser concentration of sugar, it gained 0.2 of a gram, and even the stronger sugar solution, the more concentrated sugar solution, it gained 0.13 of a gram. They all had a very marginal increase in the length. So that was quite an interesting one, and maybe just shows you what might have happened to the potato that had been in the fridge for quite some time. But I'll let you think about that one and perhaps discuss yourselves. Hope that's been useful. Thank you very much.